Anyone who raises chickens for eggs or for meat knows that the most expensive part is the feed. So we've been looking for an alternative, something cheaper. And I think we found it.
You seem okay for now. That guy's gonna hatch next. It's so cool, there's so many pupa. This is our mealworm farm. It's something that I kind of started on a whim. I didn't know what to do or how to do it, and we have our first bug that just hatched. I've got 2 drawers, actually. I should check this one. So, like,
5 months ago, I went to the pet store and bought a small container of mealworms. You can often buy freeze-dried worms online, but I wanted live worms. I didn't tell the shopkeep why, I bought them. They don't ask questions. Those are pretty much what we're going to feed. Actually, that's exactly what I bought from the feed store to give to the chickens. But I popped them in the bin, and they started to pupate. Let me see if I can find a pupa. That guy's going to hatch. Oh, there's another one. Okay, I'll set that guy aside. This is a pupa. Right here. So they're like Pokemon, and they start to evolve. And they go from that bug state, which I'll grab the bug again. Go from the worm to the pupa there. And then they hatch into a beetle, and there's one that's about to hatch. Where is he? You? No. This guy? He's pretty close. Oh, this guy. You can see here is in late stage pupation. You can see he's starting, like those are the legs, his eyes and everything. Starting to come out. So he'll be hatching, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. That is late stage pupation. And then, this guy. The beetles lay a few hundred eggs at a time. And they're going to go through the bottom mesh of this and then fall into the larva portion here that we have. And in probably a month or so, we'll have a bunch more larvae to be able to feed our chickens. Now I said a month, and that means I severely underestimated how long the life cycle of a mealworm actually is. Now let me be honest, I did a grand total of 2 minutes of research going into this, so I was just figuring it out. I later found out that the life cycle actually takes about 4 to 5 months, depending on the conditions. So in order to get a proper colony of these guys is gonna take a while.
They seem okay for now. Here, get a close-up of my worm. Oh no, I dropped him! This guy is a mealworm. Actually, I think he's a superworm. And we've got a number of his friends in this bin right here. Here's an adult. I can maybe bring out an adult one, but I got a lot of questions today about how to raise mealworm. Look at that there. Get a close-up of that guy. He doesn't like being held, but this is a mealworm. Sawyer, bud. This is a mealworm, and we are raising these to feed our chickens. I'm gonna tell you all about our mealworms. And actually, I was just reading an article that talked about how mealworms are high in fat and protein, so that we should eat them as people. I don't think we should eat them as people. I think that's insane. I think we should feed them to things that we eat as people, namely my chickens. So for the last 4-5 months, we have had mealworms down here, and been growing them up. That is a mealworm. That's the actual worm of it. And they grow from a worm. Oh, what dropped him? They grow from a worm into a beetle. like. Can't get, oh, he's flipped. Okay, we can. So this is about this is their adult stage. Hey, buddy, you want to play with the worm, with the bug? No, not a fan. Okay, I'll put him back. It's okay. You can set. Okay, let's talk about mealworms. So mealworms, I originally went to the pet.
You're a little bit too loud.
I'm a little too loud. I'm not peeking though.
Poop.
You need a, oh, bumpy? Bumpy road, bumpy road, bumpy road. I originally bought mealworms from the pet store. You can buy live mealworms from the pet store. So a lot of places will sell you like freeze-dried. We'll sell you freeze-dried worms, and I wanted to get some live ones so that we could raise them ourselves. So we did. I purchased a little cup of them from the, actually it was kind of like the cups we use for our hydroponic system. A lot like these little guys here. Not this one. This one's just a wet cup, isn't it, buddy? And sorry, I got you wet. And I threw them into a bin. I did a little bit of research. Basically, I filled up our container with... What? What are you doing, bud? Sawyer, your head's in the way. We gotta talk about the oats. This is what we feed them. Oats. Sawyer, your head. Come here. This is what we feed our mealworms. Basically, it's oats, and I give them a potato. These are some of the potatoes that didn't really grow well this season. I feed them potatoes, and they just kind of, what's that?
He's just watching. Does it look good?
Yeah, does it look good, Scoop? You're watching the monitor. Bud. It looks good. He thinks it looks good with the hydroponic lights in the background. You look like a real YouTuber, Scoob. So I bought a little cup of mealworms. Scoob. Can I talk about mealworms, please, bud? Can I just... Is it okay if I do that?
It's just he's working.
He's working. He is... You're in the way, but I originally bought a little cup of mealworms from the pet store and came home with them, and then a couple weeks later I ended up finding some more in the chicken coop. They just kind of naturally occurred and went about their life cycle, so I stole some of those worms and also took those into our bins here. I was just in the chicken coop here cleaning things up, and I found some mealworm larvae here. So I'm gonna take and add these to our little colony that we've got. So we've got some at different life cycles, and we can use them.
Gross.
I got a pair of tweezers here, so I'll just pick some of them up. Their shells are kind of hard, so I mean, you don't want to hurt them, but you don't have to be extremely delicate. I think I've got all of them, but it'll be nice to have a nice life cycle going once our big whole farm of mealworms is going, and we'll be able to supplement our chickens' feed with mealworms. Look, 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 look! Even more. Look at that. Free mealworms under the chicken carpet. How cool is that? I mean, I should have assumed that they grow naturally and like they exist in nature, but look, is there any more? There's a full mealworm colony. There's a lot of like shells. Oh, there's another one. There's a lot of shells, so there are some beetles that have gotten away, but here's the mealworms to start with, and I'll put those in our case so that they can grow up as beetles, lay some eggs, and then we'll have a massive colony of mealworms. I don't see any. Let's go put these ones in with the other guys. It's been about 5 months that they've finally gone through their entire life cycle, from mealworm to pupa to beetle to egg, and now back into worm. And there's a few different ways that I've seen people do this, and this is sort of the one that I liked the best from our friends at Lovin' Off the Land, Chris and Steph. And I don't remember if I filmed this part. If I did, I will show you. If not, what I did was I took these drawers from a cabinet here, one of these drawer stacky cabinets, and hold it up, Scoob. Hold it, bud. No, just gonna hold my face. So I put in oats, and we put in some egg cartons, and that is enough to kind of feed them, as well as some potatoes to keep them hydrated. They like to hide in the potatoes now. And, well, we're getting there. We're going to get to the top, darling. Thank you. And this is to hold all of the eggs, basically. There's nothing on the bottom of this one. Whereas the other one, the one that holds the beetles, has a mesh bottom. So we cut off, I don't know if I'll be able to do this without making a huge mess, but we cut off the bottom of this one. You can see there, and it's got a mesh, basically a window screen, so that we can keep them in there. And when they lay their eggs go down through the screen and then land into the bottom bin, and that is how we kind of raised them up. And of course, some of them were like, the eggs got laid in the top bin, and then they raised up in the top bin. That's not a huge deal. We're going to end up taking the pupa from this generation anyway, and we're going to put them down. You getting down? We're going to take some of the... Oh! Watch where you're stepping. We're going to take some of the pupa from this generation and then raise them up to keep going, hopefully. But we'll see. It's a matter of time and patience, but I'm hoping in a couple generations that we'll have plenty of mealworms to feed our chickens so that I can feed this one chickens in the future. Right? That was a struggle, Scoob. Why do you make things so difficult, bud? Why? Why do you make it so complicated?